Delight to be back with you once again, isn't it, Ronnie?
Oh, yes, indeed. And in a densely packed programme tonight, we shall be meeting a man whose wife has bought him a new wig, and all his friends agree it makes him look 30 years sillier.
And I'll be telling you the desperately sad story of Willis Watkins, who yesterday was within a hair's breadth of achieving his lifelong ambition to play professional football, but then signed for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
But first, the news. A government inquiry is to be set up into the company that's made a bomb out of syrup of figs. They'll be asking why the RAF didn't think of it first.
The drains at the House of Commons remain blocked tonight after Dynarod turned up, but Blackrod wouldn't let them in.
Meanwhile, miser Mr. Albert Moneybags was awarded £80,000 damages today after being struck in a sensitive spot by a cricket ball. He said the experience had definitely swollen his coffers.
Finally, at the funeral service of former pantomime King Rat, Mr. Rolo Tooth, the vicar said what a good man he was, and the mourners said, oh no, he wasn't.
But our sketch featuring Mr. Ronnie Corbett, who last night fell in the salad bowl and got dressed for dinner.
Hang on, everybody! Hey! Shush, everybody! Now, the winner of the Best Dressed Tarts and Vicars competition. Best tart, Susie Grundy from the town. And the Best Vicar, manager of office printing, our host, Tommy Spence. And we've got a very special prize for Tommy, a bog cola.
Thank you for coming. It's the best party we've ever had. Now, wait a minute. Special announcement. Willie McGonagall from the 3rd floor, who came as the moderator of the Church of Scotland in a kilt, sat on the Xerox copying machine. And we have 250 copies. Aye. Someone knocks at the Grady store. Bless this house. Oh, very good. Very good. The guy ropes and the top hat, lovely. Excellent. Come in, have a drink. Who are you, by the way?
I am the Bishop of Dongo.
Oh, I'm calling myself Dean Martin myself.
Surely this is not one of your deaconesses.
No, I'm just a lay person myself.
Has she nothing to cover herself withal?
No, I'm a tart.
Oh, the price of a good woman is beyond rubies.
That's not what Ruby says. Come in, mate. Tell him have a drink.
Oh, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sodom? No. Sodom's downstairs in the basement. Window dressers coming out party. What are you going to have?
This is ecumenical Babylon. There's a man of the cloth over there unfrocking himself. Tell him to go and frock himself at once.
Well, you better tell him that, mate. Have you brought a bottle with you?
I should have brought a bell-muffin candle.
Oh, it's not bedtime yet.
Oh, I shall pronounce ecclesiastical anathema.
You're very lucky to be able to pronounce anything, mate.
I shall excommunicate the lot of you.
What's the matter with you? Where are you from? Are you from auditing? Sent up to spoil everything or what?
I am the Bishop of Dongo of the Friendly Islands.
A real bishop?
Yes.
What are you doing here, mate? This is the Vicars and Tarts party.
Our missionary work in the Friendly Islands costs money. I spoke to the man at the door in uniform and explained the missionary position.
Oh, I don't know that one.
He told me that the best place for me was the 6th floor.
Oh, he's a real bishop, Eric. A real bishop. Yeah, he's not dressed up. He's collecting money from the Friendly Isles. Oh, yeah. Come on, help him be friendly, Dory.
How do you know? Our work in the
I thought he was from Dispatch. With a hassock stuck up his cassock. He's minding neutral.
Won't it put people off?
Well,
And furthermore, we shall pay in the next life for the lusts of the flesh that we incur in this life. Take a
he's
leap.
driving everyone away. Come back. Come
There
back.
is no circle of hell lower than that.
What is it? Wait, we're only having a good time.
Good time. Such scenes as these even in ancient Greece.
Susie, come back. Susie! Oh, had that all laid on. Had her all laid on there, you miserable thing. Why don't you come and spoil everything?
Sign it, please.
Sign it. What is this? Party poopers? What's that?
Yes, you've heard of kissograms and stripograms. I'm a nasty bishopgram from your wife. Ready?
On the last show, you may remember our guest was Phil Collins. Well, tonight, it's the ladies' turn, and with the song that was made famous by the legendary Billie Holiday, our special guest, Barbara Dixon, and Lover Man.
I don't know why, but I'm feeling so sad. I long to try something I've never had. Hugging and a kissing, ooh, what I've been missing. Love a man, where can you be? The night is cold and I'm so all alone. I long to hold you and call you my own. There's a moon above me, but there's no one to love me. Love a man, where can you be? I've heard it said that the thrill of romance can be just like a heavenly dream. I go to bed in the hope that you make love to me. Strange as it seems, someday you'll come and you'll dry all my tears and whisper sweet little things in my ears, hugging and a kissing. Ooh, what I've been missing. Love a man, where can you be?
Good night. In the program tonight, I'm showing you how to be making a hot and spicy curry. And it will be repeated tomorrow morning. And I will also be showing you how to make papadums. Now this here, that is a papadum. And that is a mamadum. Now the curry I'm going to show you how to be making this week is one of my very own recipes. Actually, it is being an Anglo-Indian vegetable and ham dish. The vegetables being from India and the ham being from England. So I am naming it the Richard Mahatma Gandhi curry. For this king of curries, you will be needing 1 pound of ham, 1 pound of diced okra, 1/2 pound of chickpeas, and 1/2 pint of single cream. And about half a teaspoonful each of garam masala, cumin, fenugreek, kalonji, coriander, black mustard seed, yellow mustard seed, mace, nutmeg, hot green chili, hot red chili, dill, kangaroo, capsicum, cardamom, cinnamon, fennel, juniper cloves, cayenne, turmeric, cream, and hardy willis, saffron, and salt. Here we go. I'll put us in there like that. And if you haven't got any of these, don't worry. Just use an OXO cube. Now you put all that together in a big pot and you cook for about 1.5 hours at 300 degrees. Or if you're not in a hurry for your curry, 300 hours at 1.5 degrees. And do not be worrying if you did not manage to get all that down. You can always buy my book which accompanies the series. Price £9.95. or £8.95 direct from the BBC, Bombay Book Club. Now with this curry, I recommend the stuffed pilau rice. Pilau rice is the thing to eat with this. And to be making perfect stuffed pilau rice, you will need 1 pint of water and 6 ounces of basmati rice, and you cook for 40 minutes, and you stuff it into a pilau, like that, you see. Now, first, of course, you must remove the original stuffing from the pilau. Now, I am not knowing what this pilau is stuffed with. So I'm asking the producer on the phone. Hello? Oh, gracious, that is a cucumber. The question is, where is the phone? And the answer is, it is in this bowl covered with yogurt. Yes. However, I have here another telephone that I prepared earlier. Hello, producer. Blessings upon your house, sir. Tell me, oh wise and all-seeing, all-drinking one. What is this pilau stuffed with? I said, what is this pilau stuffed with? No, I am ducking down. The pillow is stuffed with duck down, of course. This will be very useful. Thank you, sir. You're a bit late, but hurry up and get here. This will be very useful in next week's program entitled Indigestion with Indian Food, or How to Keep Your Bombay Duck Down. Now, what about a starter? Well, if you are following correctly the recipe for my hot and spicy curry, you will not be needing a starter. You'll be needing a stopper. That is something to stop you eating too much and getting too full because it is so delicious. Now, I am making a starter anyway. Any old way I shall make a starter. And I have chosen an old favorite, tandoori chicken. Now, this particular recipe was given to me by a friend of mine, Mohammed Nazir, sometimes known as Marinade Nazir, because he left his wife overnight. He's thinking about that one. Now, first we will be making the marinade, which the chicken will then stand in or run around in if you are marinating it before you kill it. And for the marinade, you will need salt, yogurt. We have plenty of yogurt here, and the red food coloring. You put all those in the bowl like that, and half a juice of a whole lemon. Now, if you have not got a whole lemon to take half the juice of, just use the whole juice of half a lemon. Well, it's the same thing. Work it out. Now, for the chicken, which must now be skinning and quartering. Now, many people are finding this difficult, you see, but it's not difficult at all if you are doing it like I'm telling you, which is by taking your little knife like this and cutting through the skin like this, you see. Through there, across there, run there like that, and run this side here from elbow to breakfast time, right round that side. Now, it is simple to be pulling the skin up. You just take the skin in the hand. No, you just take the... Simply nail it to the board like that. That's it. Now you will be able to get a grip on the chicken. That is the way. Now, you simply take it. And there is a photograph of the completed chicken. Ready to serve. Now, lastly, and finally, it is my time for my last week's deliberate mistake. I wonder how many of you were getting it right. Some, perhaps, but not Mr. Gerald Watkins of Peterborough, who, after failing to notice that in the recipe for Rogan Josh, I should have said 1 teaspoonful of chili powder and not 1 dustbinful. He has since been in hospital. There he is recovering from the world's first bottom transplant.
What made you give up work and take to the road then, Harry?
I give up work because of sickness. The boss got sick of me.
You was a railway porter, wasn't you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I got the sack because I trod on a stile.
Why'd you do that?
Well, it'd been following me about all day.
Bit of a blow, wasn't it? You know, losing your job.
Well, yeah, it was really, because at the time I had a wife and 2 ruptures to support. What made you give it up then?
Well, I lost the will to live, except at the weekends. You know. I was always late.
Always. I mean, what they ought to do, really, is cross electric blankets with toasters and pop people out of bed in the morning. What happened then? Did you get into trouble? Got into trouble, all right. I had to go up before the boss. I hadn't been talking to him for more than 2 minutes, and he called me a fool. What caused the delay? I must have been talking slow. My boss used to be rude and all, and mean. You know, on Flag Days, he had a special way of avoiding buying one. What was that, then? He used to wear a tray with flags on it. One Christmas, I sent him a card with Happy Christmas on it. Next year, he sent the same card back and wrote on it, and the same to you.
Amanda, slip into something totally flimsy while I mix you a scandalously dry martini after I've tinkled on the pianoforte. Come in, my dear. Come in, my dear, won't you? Throw yourself decoratively onto the chaise longue.
Onto the what?
Who are you?
I'm the coalman, ain't I?
I didn't order any coal. Good heavens. It's nearly midnight.
Yeah, precisely. The special summer bargain offer stops at midnight. I thought you might like a couple of sacks for them around the place.
Get out.
Look, I've come here to talk, if you must know, about Amanda.
Amanda, where is Amanda? Amanda!
Don't shout, you'll bring the property values down. I'm talking about Amanda, my daughter Deirdre. She's downstairs, in the wagon, waiting for me. I'm taking her home.
Home? With you? Fickle jade. I've always had my doubts about Amanda. What are you? Rough trade?
I'm a father.
Great Scott.
She takes after her mother's side.
Thank heavens for that.
Listen, my Amanda, or Deirdre as we call her at home, is very sophisticated. For a barmaid. But she haven't got much up top, see?
She has the most willowy, wonderful body.
I'm not talking about up top here. She got plenty up top here. I'm talking about further up top here.
I'm sorry.
The point is, when they were delivering the brains, she finished up 1 sack short of a load. Now, what I want to know, what's been going on between you, sonny boy, and Deirdre?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing has gone on between Deirdre and me, which I would not willingly scream in a loud voice to my grandmother in clear, ringing tones.
Let's leave your grandmother out of this, shall we, her and Edward VII? What I want to know is, are your intentions honourable?
My intentions towards Deirdre, Amanda, if you must know, are totally loathsome and despicable.
Oh, an honest man. I like that. Put it there. It did say honourable on the doorbell, but you can't always believe what you read on doorbells.
I know what you mean. Young model.
Yes, all that. Yeah. Listen, how did you get to meet my Deirdre, then?
Computer dating. I shall recommend it to my friends.
Isn't that all a bit mechanical, like?
No, the computer merely arranges that you don't actually go out with one.
Oh.
You still, believe it or not, end up with real, living, vibrant flesh.
Yeah. Or in your case, Deirdre. Yeah. Funny to think of Deirdre as vibrant. Or even living, for that matter. Till she's a big girl now.
Big? She is a sylph. She is a nymph.
Yes, I've heard that said about her, no? Oh, well, nice to meet you.
Oh.
I usually only get to see gentlemen's coal holes.
Wait a minute. When I said my intentions towards Deirdre were loathsome and despicable, what I meant to say was, what I was desperately trying...
What's wrong with you?
I am inwardly struggling with myself.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've gone back to boxer shorts myself.
To do, dear sir, is make Deirdre my wife.
Oh, you're going to make an honest woman of her?
I'm not sure if that's quite possible, but I certainly hope she's going to be an honest man of me.
Oh, nicely put, very fair.
Deirdre. Deirdre, it's a lovely name, it's a dryad, a fawn, a nymph, a sylph.
Yes. Well, I better get back to her now. She'll be wondering what's happening to me. Oh, here she comes.
What, you ready yet? I'd lag up a sack of Sunbright doubles while I was down there.
Is that where you wanted it?
boots, you filthy lot of hairy brutes.
Grab the girlie, that's the closest. Never mind her halitosis.
Take your partner by the hand, blow a raspberry to the band.
Step upon your partner's toe, move to the right and dozy do.
And keep your hands over her fish and chips.
As a promenade, she sure looks fine after 15 pints of barley wine.
Oh, your partner full of booze. Tip her up and pinch her shoes.
Grab her by the ankles quick and swing her round and dozy slick.
Now, sassy to the left and sassy to the right. I've been dying to have a sack all night.
Push the girl across the floor, grab her by the exit door.
Spinning round, his knuckles dragging on the ground. Come on, Charlie, grab that floozy with a face like that. She won't be choosy.
Oh, One-Eyed Cyril's really weird. He grows mushrooms in his beard. Greasy Joan just caught his eye and stopped it landing in the shepherd's pie.
Oh, Tom Noakes is 84. See him stagger around the floor. 3 parts gone on Lucas Aid. Promenades with a hearing aid.
Albert's up to all his tricks. His Frida's bust is 46. When she swings him round and round, knocks young Albert to the ground.
Watch them as they dozy-do. See them swinging to and fro. When it rains, the lucky fella uses them as an umbrella.
Buffalo Bill, he goes round with pint-sized Lil. She's known as actually Lil a lot, not where she lived, but what she got.
Every time old Billy meets her, her fizzog looks more like a pizza. She's got pimples on each cheek, wins the spotlight every week.
Now the dance is almost done, take your partners one by one.
Whirl them round in the final fling.
Kick your heels and do your thing.
Form a chain and rev your throttle.
Do a wheelie, lose your bottle.
Tap the nail and tip the cobbler.
Hold join hands and throw a wobbler. This is it, Fiona. It's lovely, isn't it?
Charming.
Absolutely charming. It is, in fact, the finest real ale house outside London, really. Yes, it is. Come on. Good evening, mine host.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam. Good evening. Now, I think we should start you on something not too heavy, just a little tasty, nutty, from the wood, but not too strong. Could we have 2 pints, please, of Shagwell's Old Dirigible?
Haven't got any, sir.
Oh, no Shagwell's Old Dirigible?
No, sir.
Oh, goodness, that is a bit of a blow. Well, what about some Black Nasty Stout?
Oh, lovely.
Yes, half. 2 halves of Black Nasty Stout, please.
Haven't got any, sir.
Haven't got it? Well, what sort of beer have you got?
We don't sell beer, sir.
What do you mean you don't sell beer? I mean, the finest real ale house in the country.
Ah, that was last year, sir.
Last year?
Yes. Yes, the craze for real ale is over now, sir.
Really? So, what do you sell now, then?
We sell water, sir.
Water?
Yes, water.
Water? Why water?
Why, well, there was such a craze on the mineral waters last year, so we gave up selling beer altogether, sir.
Goodness me.
Yes, we only sell water now, sir. We are the first real water pub.
Real water?
Yes, yes. All the top people go for it, sir, now.
Oh, I think I've read about it, as a matter of fact. I saw it in the supplement. Rather lucky we stumbled on this. What sort of real water do you stock there?
All sorts. So we've got Alpine mineral water, we've got Island stream water, we've got Windermere lake water, we've got Canada dry water, Red Indian running water, French Perrier water, Yorkshire Terrier water, Mountain water, Fountain water, Holy water, Virginia water, we've got Southend sea water, Catford tap water, soapy water, ropey water, dopey water, dish water, fish water. We've got evaporated water, condensed water, soda water, distilled water, rich water, ditch water, boiling water, toilet water, Thames water, soapy water. Yeah, we've got 7 water, we've got 6 out of 7 water, we've got baby's hot water, we've got baby's pot water, we've got baby's bath water, we've got murky water, dirty water, squirty water, old water, cold water, gold water, plain water, rain water, water on the rocks, water on the knee, water on the bridge. Which would you like?
Quite a selection. You seem to have water on the brain.
Yes, we've got that up here, so there.
Well, I think, if we may, we'll plump for the,
Windermere?
The Windermere Lake water, yes.
With or without fluoride, sir?
With
Ice, sir?
yes, please. 2 lumps.
Yes, well, we got Alpine Mineral, we got Highland Stream, we got Gap, we got Watford Gap, we got washing up water, washing down water, Alls water, Bulls water.
I think we'll have Highland Stream, I think.
Yes, sir. Now, what do you want? Cracked ice? Do you want black ice, flushed ice, crushed ice, chopped ice?
I think we'll have the crushed ice.
Oh, crushed ice. Yes, very good, sir. That will be £1.40, please, sir.
Very good. Have one yourself.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. That'll be £5, thank you.
Oh, goodness me. Fancy the old garden gate not selling beer.
Yes, we don't call it the Garden Gate anymore, sir. No, we call it the Water Gate now, sir.
Tell me, do you... thank you very much. Do you make your own water?
Well, with this lot about every 5 minutes.
It's very nice, very, very nice. Cheeky little taste, isn't it? Yes, I think you'll be amused by its impertinence. Very nice. I say, I thought you didn't sell beer. That's lager, isn't it?
Oh, yes, but it's not for sale, sir.
Well, what is it for?
Well, we've got to wash the glasses in something, haven't we, sir?
Thank you very much. I'd like to begin tonight, if I may, on rather a serious note. Something of a sensitive subject, but one I hope we can all approach with a sort of adult, mature fashion. The question of my sex appeal. And why it didn't bring in a single donation. I knew you wouldn't take that seriously. I thought you might take it less seriously than that. But, the fact is that it's a popular fallacy that men of my diminutive stature don't make great lovers. As I pointed out in my recent book on the subject, How to Make a Little Go a Long Way, in which I recounted my first ever awakening to the attractions of the opposite sex. At the age of 12, I can still remember it vividly. I'd just climbed halfway up Karma Miranda and suddenly lost all interest in scrumping her apples. A risky venture in those days because I actually went to a very, very strict school. I remember the boy who sat next to me was shot for hurrying a Murray mint. What I thought I would do tonight was to bring along this week's sack of fan mail from all my adoring lady admirers and just pick out one at random. just any letter. Oh, there we are. And see what it says. Now, here we are. To the most erotic man on television. Care of the Two Ronnies. See what I mean? Get this sort of thing all the time. Now, let's see what it says inside. Dear Ronnie, here we are. Here they are. You are the sexiest hunk of man I have ever seen. Not very quiet. Virile and masculine, yet warm and cuddly. Last night I dreamt that you and I were... I beg your pardon. How I long for us to make mad, passionate music together, Ronnie. Say it can be so. All I ask is that you get rid of the weedy little drip who's on the... Please ask him to tell the joke about the American tourist and the Red Indian. Well, which brings us rather neatly, if not very convincingly, to tonight's story. Now, I'm glad it's this story, actually, because it should cheer up my wife, who's rather upset tonight, as today holds rather painful memories for us at home, because it was exactly a year ago today that the terrible incident occurred when I was kidnapped. I haven't talked about this before in public because it left a lot of scars, naturally, but it all happened one Saturday afternoon. We were taking part in a big charity showbiz event on Wimbledon Common. Very flattering, actually, because my wife and I were the guests of honour. And as a special tribute to the first night of our honeymoon, the first night of our honeymoon was reenacted by the Sealed Knot Society. I'd admit the catering left a lot to be desired. That was in the hands of the BBC canteen, the catering manageress. The catering was. I'll swear she hadn't been reading her own recipes carefully enough, because on this occasion, for dessert, she served up a lemming meringue. And every time you went to eat some, it kept throwing itself off the table. It was at 5:30. We'd just left to go home when suddenly, without warning, the kidnappers struck. A car roared up alongside us. The door was flung open and I was dragged in, and off we went. Now, we drove for 3 hours till we came to a deserted, disused old building, which they'd obviously picked because no one would ever go there. Watford football ground. No, it wasn't. No. I shouldn't be unfair because Watford are doing their best to make a go of things. No, only this week they signed up 2 new spectators. I'll be honest, these 2 kidnappers were pretty hard-nosed. And they sent a note to the BBC which said, "How would you like to see Ronnie Corbett strung up on a meat hook?" And the next day they got a letter from the head of comedy saying, "This shows promise, let's have lunch." So eventually they issued an ultimatum. If the BBC did not leave £5,000 in a hollow tree on St Pancras Station immediately, within 24 hours, I would never be seen again. 11 months went by. It went through various BBC committees. The ransom note was read out on points of view. The kidnappers got fed up waiting and let me go, alive and completely unharmed. And the BBC sued them for breach of contract. Here is the joke. There is this chap on a package tour going around the United States. And the tour, you see, takes them deep into Indian country, down through Wounded Knee to Twisted Ankle, finally arriving at Athlete's Foot. Well, they all pile out of the coach, and the guide draws their attention to a wizened old red Indian who's standing by the side of the road. He said, "That over there is Leaping Turtle, last of the Navajos. And he has the most amazing memory of any man alive. Who'd like to test him out?" He said, so this chap steps forward and he says, "Tell me, Leaping," he says, "can you recall what you had for breakfast on February the 25th, 1947? And without hesitation, the Indian replies, "Eggs." Chap said, "Well, I'll be plumb tuckered out," he said. That's incredible. Quickly remembering he was American. What a memory. At which point their time is up. They all clamber back on the coach and off they go. Well, the chap enjoys the trip so much that 27 years later, he does it again. And sure enough, there standing by the roadside is the same red Indian. A bit older now, obviously. You know, splashing his scalps with Grecian 2000. He's delivering a rather limp war cry. I forgot to tell you he was in the Salvation Army. Anyway, and the chap can't believe it. He said, "That is incredible. Leaping Turtle is still alive after all this time." And he goes up to him again. He says, "How?" And the Indian turns around and said, "Scrambled."
Long ago, when Vikings sailed the seas, legend tells of many bold and fearless warriors. Of Robert the Hardy, Jimmy the Young, and James the Burke. Yet, of all the noble heroes in Valhalla, one man stood head and shoulders below the rest. Mudgard the Mighty, last of the great Norsemen. For Mudgard the sea was his kingdom, the fresh ocean spray his very lifeblood. And so it was that in the spring of the year 986, Mudgard led his band of cutthroats to the shores of northern Britain on what was to be his final voyage.
As you know, I, Mudgard the Mighty, grow old. And this day, I lead you into battle for the last time against the ancient Britons. It will be a cruel and bloody battle. Many of you will be torn limb from limb. Others will be horribly hacked about. But shall we flinch in the face of the enemy? No! We shall slit their gizzards. We shall...
Please, sir.
What is it?
I want to be excused, sir.
What?
I want to be excused, gizzard slitting today, sir. I've got a note from my mum, sir.
What are you talking about?
Well, I've got this terribly sniffly nose, so I don't think I'm up to it today, sir.
Silence! Put your helmet on straight. What's your name?
Pithrick, sir.
Pithrick for what?
Pithrick the Pathetic, sir.
Silence! Snivelling son of a slug's entrails. Have you no Viking's blood in your veins?
Yes, and I want it to stay there, sir.
I've never seen such cringing, snivelling cowardice.
You ought to see my brother, sir.
Pithrick, you will go into battle with the rest of the men and like it.
Yes, sir.
Got a note from your mum. Right, men, forward!
And thus did Mudgard's hordes descend upon the Saxon villages, looting every home, slaughtering men and cattle, ravishing the womenfolk, and generally behaving in a very naughty manner. Mudgard proudly looked on as his lusty band of warriors carried off their prizes.
Hey, you! Where are you going with that
honest I could get some.
I'm not talking to you.
Hedrick. They run out of virgin, sir.
Put that down before I put you down. Oh. Didn't you bring back anything of value?
Well, I did manage to pick up this little Anglo-Saxon musical box. It's very primitive, of course.
Cheap foreign rubbish. Next time you loot a village, Pithrick, bring back something useful. You had best cool your ardour with a nice cold swim in the river. What have you got there?
It appears to be an ancient parchment, sir. I found it stuffed in that music box.
By the gods of Asgard, it is the map to King Saladbar's tomb.
King Saladbar? Who's King Saladbar?
In life, he was of the evil band that practices black rituals.
What, a reggae singer?
He is a sorcerer, Pithrick, and the legend decrees that all his golden treasure was buried with him on his death in the tomb. This map will lead us to the tomb. Let us see what it says. First, seek out the River of Eternal Youth.
River of Eternal Youth? That could be anywhere.
And so, with his crew now reduced to one man, Mudgod the Mighty took Pithrick the Pathetic in search of the sorcerer's treasure, across the Valley of Woe, and up into the Mountains of Doom, over the cliffs of Calamity, and eventually reaching the heights of absurdity, where Mudgod just managed to stop Pithrick going over the top.
Oh, that's better. Oh, my poor feet. Oh.
Beware the enchanted forest, for there dwells Morag, the witch, who seduces all men and transforms their bodies into swine. We shall have a head start with you. You're a pig of yourself already. I'm off to get some more wood for the fire, and while I'm away, I don't want you talking to any strange women.
Brave Viking.
Me? What do you want? You get away from me.
Have no fear. I only wish you to share your drumstick with me.
You leave me alone. You don't know where I've been.
Don't fight it, Viking. Come into my arms.
Oh, you can't get round me. There's nothing you could possibly do that would make me... Mummy!
I knew it. Can't leave you alone for a moment, can I? Whose fault is it anyway? This fellow only lasts a couple of days. Be patient. Don't do that when I'm talking to you. We've got to walk on this path. Come on.
I think I'm back to normal now.
Sorry to hear that. These high-fiber diets have got a lot to answer for. What is this place?
Well, it says here we are now entering the Garden of Lost Souls. Where once dwelt a strange arboreal young man whose body was made completely from flowers.
Poppycock.
Doesn't say what his name is.
How do we get into the tomb?
Oh, it says here, it's all here. It says, to find the entrance, you must first seek out the giant rabbi hole.
The what?
Giant rabbi hole.
Let me see this. Giant rabbit hole. The writing's worn away. Take 20 paces from the giant toadstool.
Oh, it is here, look there.
All right, then go on then.
1, 2...
We found it! The lost tomb of Saladbar the sorcerer. Seems strange that he left it completely unguarded. Somehow I expected to find some hideous, horrible monster, but evidently he seems to have...
Oi, what have we here? A right little shepherd and no mistake.
Keep away from me, you ogre!
Hey, stone me to death and break my mother's arm.
What's going on here? Oh, my God.
Another one. A nice fat one, too. I eat little shamils like you for breakfast.
Got the evil brute. What an eerie place. Do you know, Pithrick, I've got this strange feeling we're not alone.
Oh, he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
I don't believe it. This whole thing was one great big hoax.
Just so we could spring this surprise party. We couldn't let you go without a good send-off, could we?
I don't know what to say.
In recognition of 50 years of pillaging and looting, we would like to present you with this solid gold 8-day sundial.
Oh, is that the time?
And this is from all the virgins you've ravished. All our best wishes for a happy retirement.
I've won the cup.
To Mudguard.
To Mudguard.
And thus ends the saga of Mudguard the Mighty. Yet even today, 1,000 years on, Mudguard's descendants are still to be seen, swooping mercilessly on defenceless Britons.
Good morning. I'm from the Acme Double Glazing Company. I was wondering... Thank you. That seems to be all we have time for, apart from a few extra items of news.
Basil Burke, the eccentric fish and chip shop owner, has retired, having devoted his whole life to deep frying in the nude. He's now realised he's frittered it all away.
Magnus Codd, TV's absent-minded professor, caused chaos at a suburban station this morning when he kissed the train goodbye, jumped on his wife and went to town.
At today's conference of the Forgetful Society, the chairman gave the keynote speech. He said that last year had been a complete what-not of a whatchamacallit. Watch Your Face had an humour flip and had made a complete thingamabob of it. He then sat down on a doodah and heard his what's it.
In our next series, we'll be talking to Humbert Loades, the Silchester man who not only moved from a house to a flat to avoid gardening, but now has tarmacked over his window boxes.
And we'll be featuring the world premiere of a new pantomime, which is a cross between Cinderella and Peter Pan. It's called Fly Buttons.
Until then, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night.